this is Skyfire, the Pokemon Mac, and I am bringing you a Pokemon 5th Generation Wi-Fi battle video. I am playing White 2 in this one, and the battle is against AkaiKage from the Pokemon Wi-Fi room on Zat.com. You know, one of the best things about playing Pokemon, in that case, is playing mixed Pokemon. And even funnier, mixed Pokemon which many people don't expect to be seen. Now, for the first time ever, you're seeing a Purloin, although you did see a Purloin, not Purloin, I meant Leopard. This is the first time you probably see a Leopard being played, but that's only because I didn't get to use Leopard in the last battle, but you will see Leopard to be seen in this one. I am going to start off with Beecher, which is my Simisear. This is my favorite Pokemon to come out when it comes out the battle. But he brings in Medusa, which is Mawile. I'm thinking to myself, you know what? I don't really think that there's going to be much that Mawile will do unless he's going to switch. But I did see the source is, what's this thing trying to do? I didn't really anticipate much, but, and I said but, I saw the Sucker Punch, and that pretty much messed up everything. And it was even worse than the crit. Oh, good grief. So it was a crit plus 2 life orb. Oh, this is not good. Okay. Let's try this a different way. I'm bringing Henry Ruff, which is my Scrafty. It's going to switch out bringing Norlies, which is Dusknoir. And I'm going to easily go for the Dragon Dance because I predicted the sweep. The switch, I mean. So with that, I am going to boost myself up in attack and speed for +1. And I figured if Will-O-Wisp does come up, and I'm at +2, half damage from +2, half of doubled would be equal to 1. So I figured to myself, even if the Will-O-Wisp is, it shouldn't be that big of a problem. So I'm at +2, but I'm at even attack, but +2 speed. So I figured even attack would still be good enough to do that much damage on a Dusknoir after the crunch. But it still gets the sub ball, and I wonder how the heck that happened. It got to the little bit. If I had just a little bit more damage on that thing, I probably would have had it better. But I saw the tightening focus part. What? You mean to tell me this is a Focus Punch Dusknoir? I've never seen a Focus Punch Dusknoir before, but then I guess it depends on how people will play it. But that is a Focus Punch Dusknoir, and that's going to be a KO on Henry Ruff. This is not starting out right. I'm already down 2. So I figured that maybe Skycatcher would do a little different, and it started out right here. He's going to switch out Dusknoir, bring back in Mawile as I go for the nasty plot. And this is probably the best time for Skycatcher to come in. Reason? I had a flamethrower waiting for that Mawile. It was either going to be Aura Spear or flamethrower, and flamethrower was the one that worked better. So Flamethrower is going to KO that Mawile, and that's 1 gone. And it was just what I needed. So he brought in Ogre Darner, which is his Yanmega, and then I should have predicted the Protect. It never fails. I should have did that. So it gets the speed boost off, but I wasn't going to worry too much because even if it did Air Slash, it still wouldn't take that much. But it went for hidden power something. Well, it had to be something because it wasn't effective. I was looking Ghost, Ground. Those were the only 2 things that's not effective against Togekiss. But the Goof is going to get the Flamethrower to hit the Yanmega for when he KO. So with that, he is going to bring in Gummy Bear, which is his Reuniclus. And let me tell you first. I did the Air Slash on Reuniclus, but what I want to say is, when I first started playing Pokemon, I didn't even know how to pronounce Reuniclus. Funny enough. But the Air Slash is actually going to keep that Reuniclus alive and no flinch. It goes for Trick Room, tries to go for Psychic. I was like, okay, keep calm. I know how Trick Room is. I hate Trick Room, but at least Ridiculous did KO Skycatcher. The flamethrower will KO Ridiculous though. Thank goodness for that. So, here comes I Love Slots. Obviously, the Clefairy from the slot from, I think, Fortune. Which does, yeah, it does Seismic Toss. Only takes me down to 31 HP. I had 131. So I go for the Aura Spear, hoping for the one-hit KO. And as close as I get to that much. This thing must be EV than Special Defense. I probably think so myself. So, I am going to see the Seismic Toss again, which is unfortunately going to be a KO on my Skycatcher. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm still in good shape. I think there's Clefable and possibly Dustmore and a few others left. So I figured, you know what, I'm gonna try for a Yawn. And it goes for Wish. This is gonna be one of those things where I wish I had Taunt on this not Purloin, Leaper. I keep thinking Purloin. I love Purloin. Maybe because I did an EV training video where I did Purloins a lot. It went for Protect and I was trying to go for the Encore. Even though the Wish will get HP back for Clefable, the good thing about the Yawn is that I do make it go to sleep. So that was not a worry. So I'm gonna go for an Encore to lock it on Protect. What I was hoping at the next point was that it was going to switch out and bring in something else, so I could hopefully use something else. But I goofed with the Thunderwave because I wasn't even predicting the switch, so that was a major prediction on my part. So that was a big goof. So I said, you know what, I am going to switch out now, and I'm going to bring in Luddington, which is my Raikou. And again, Luddington does some awesome things, as usual. But the Clefable wakes up the next turn, for one. Protect fails. Even worse, the Encore ends already. If I did Encore, it would have took 4 or 5 turns, but for others it took 1 or 2. So I'm like, okay. So I am going to go for a Calm Mind while it goes for a Wish. Now I already know that it's going to switch out and bring in Dustmore, which is why I didn't really worry about attacking too much. So once I predicted the switch into Dustmore, I said I was going to continue with the Calm Minds. Because if I figured of the defense from what happened with Scrafty, I would figure that there probably wouldn't be enough to keep a +2 Raikou from doing a lot of work. But once the Wish came in, I was going to see the Dustmore go back to about 97%. But, of course, it's Raikou. +2 Shadow Ball, super effective. It's going to be a KO on the Dustmore, and I don't have to worry about much. So, sweet on that. Now, this is where the funny comes in. Brings back in Clefable, which I think is his last Pokemon. I'll go for a Thunderbolt, takes it down to about that much, but it was a crit. But it wasn't a crit because, well, it wasn't Clefable, it was Zoroark. So unfortunately, that was a not so interesting part on that. Could have brought back in Clefable and did something better. The crit, I don't know. Luddington's doing a lot of crits lately. Reminds me of Erie. So he brings back in the real Clefable. I get another Thunderbolt to come in, takes it down about 35%, and I get a pair of hacks. Come on, Luddington. You're beginning to be like another Erie all of a sudden with all this hacks. So, even though he does do the Seismic Toss, that is pretty much going to be a KO on the Clefable with the second Thunderbolt. And that is going to be good game to Akai. You know, Luddington has been now the next Pokemon to do a lot of hacks. that crit on that Zoroark, and the paralyze on the Clefable. You know, you really don't see much like that, but I had to figure to myself, why didn't I try this the first time? Only because I could have brought in for Alligator and did something different, but I was scared of that Duskmore, and I didn't think that Zoroark was still on the team. I thought I KO'd it a long time ago, probably was scrapped, but I guess that wouldn't have been the factor anyway. But it took me a minute to think, if I was going to bring in Clefable, how could I do Shadow Ball? I already did 2 Calm Minds the first time, so apparently I'm not choiced. I don't like choice anyway, so I just figured, I already did plus 2 Calm Minds in the Shadow Ball. There's no way I could be locked in the Shadow Ball, which was why I did the Thunderbolt. And I couldn't do Shadow Ball anyway, especially if I saw the Fable. So it was easy enough that I had 3 moves, actually 2 that I could have did. That was Raiku's Hidden Power Ice and Thunderbolt. I just went for the stab Thunderbolt. I didn't expect the crit, but I guess that was how it was meant to be. So Luddington did good. Skycatcher did good. Skycatcher, I think, was the most helpful part of my comeback anyway, so that was interesting enough. But you know, again, I like mixed tiered anyway. That's how this game gets fun. Rate, comment, subscribe, if you like.